And now we're live. We should be live. So let me post everywhere to make sure. Refresh Geeksters live. Okay, I see it on the Geekster on the podnuts.com/Geeksters live channel. Into everybody. We have one viewer. One viewer.
Good.
All right. I don't know who's viewing it, but oh no, they just left.
Is it? Are we in the same Panas chat thing? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I'm jumping in there.
I don't even have it anymore. That's what we can talk about Windows 10 too.
Sure.
Trials and tribulations.
All right. Well, I posted in the Podnuts. I posted on Hex Chat, which I'm in the chat room. I've posted in Google Plus in general, and so I think that's all I'm going to do. Okay. I'm ready when you are.
It's recording. You start whenever.
Okay. So they want to pause though, right?
They
want to pause though, correct?
Pause.
Don't you want to pause to break it up for Door?
No.
Oh.
I'll take it out. I'll take it out.
Right, but I thought you wanted me to pause it or... No, never mind. Maybe that was old school.
Because I'll know. I can't remember, but I mean, I'll know where we start at because I got the time.
Well, I think at one time you wanted me to just like give a little bit of a pause so it showed up.
Oh yeah, that was for him. Well, are we live right now?
Yes.
Well,
that's what I mean. But you've already started recording. But what I meant was I paused for a little bit.
Yeah, for him. Yeah, because he's yeah. You can do it.
Well, so you have a spot to cut it.
What? Well, no, he wants to do it because the editing software he uses, so he can profile that empty spot.
Oh.
So I do it for Door. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do a 10-second thing.
Well, I usually go 3, but
that's fine.
Hey everybody, welcome to Geeksters episode 179. This is a show where we talk about all things geeky, from computers to cars to laptops to batteries to Windows 10 to iPhones to Androids. If you're gonna, if it's got a computer in it at some point, we're gonna talk about it. That is a mouthful. That is something that I got to get used to saying. Our last show was February 18th, and my main man, Mitch, is joining us today. Tim was MIA. We can't find Tim. So hopefully he's doing well. Tim, if you're listening or, hear this after the fact, come back. We tried to get a hold of you to get a show. But anyways, I am Martin Obando from Obando Computing. And this is a show, like I said, we talk about all things geekery. If you've wondered whether or not we fell off the face of the earth, we pod faded, all of those different reasons for things that we just weren't here. No, we didn't. The issue was strictly all mine. I got big shoulders. Work just picked up. Unfortunately, owning your own business. If you listen to any of the older podcasts of Geeksters, what would happen is that some days we would have a show, some days we wouldn't. It would get moved. It would get transferred. Work just got me really, really slammed. That's life. I mean, it really is. I didn't want to go away. But I wanted to come back and some talks with Mitch and Tim and how are we going to do this and what's it going to look like and what's best for the show, what's best for the listeners, what's best for the Podnuts community. We just kind of let it sit, and here we are. So life has changed for me. My son now drives. My daughter's in high school. Work has tapered off a little bit, but mainly, with some changes in life with my son driving, he can take my daughter to band stuff. My daughter now with going to high school, she changed schools, she gets out earlier. So I'm able to move my schedule around Mitch. Sounds like Mitch has a new work schedule. So I'm hoping and really, really hoping and going to try to really bring Geeksters back on a weekly basis, if not at least every other week. I don't know if that's bi-weekly or bi-monthly or however it works out. I want to bring it back. I really want to be here. I've heard nothing but, just praises and having people come up to me and say, "Hey, is Geeksters coming back? We missed the show," and I missed the show as well, and I know I missed seeing Mitch. Good grief, Mitch! I think this is the first time I've seen you in person since we last recorded. So I hear your voice.
50 pounds ago, or 40.
See, I knew that. I barely could even recognize you, Mitch. You look like a young Tony Danza. I couldn't think of anybody else. I apologize. Okay. Well, anyways, guys,
that's okay.
There's Mitch. Hey, Mitch, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I missed you a lot. You're so unreplaceable. And the thing is, if you weren't successful, you wouldn't have been in that position, but you are.
Yeah. Well, so. I don't mean to pat myself on the shoulder, but yeah, it's like I said, owning up your own business. That's the good thing. It could be worse. It really honestly could be worse. I could be recording Geeksters because I have to go back to a 9-to-5 job. But come November, I'll have done this now full time for 5 years. So
excellent.
It's been good, but I'm glad to be back. Definitely glad to be behind the microphone. It feels funny. I think I did one between February and now. I did an episode of the computer repair podcast with Jeff Hallish.
You might have done a couple, actually.
But
you might have been doing Geeksters too. I can't remember, but I did hear you on one of those.
I probably have sat in front of this microphone here since February, maybe 2 times. So
is that why that stuff is on?
Oh yeah, I would look at this microphone and I'm like, oh my gosh,
a little pop filter there.
Yeah, it's pretty dusty. So you know what? We're gonna dust it off. I'm gonna start drinking some lemon juice, get my vocal cords moving around because I gotta get my radio voice back on. But so we're back, and yeah, I don't even know where to begin on what to talk about. Good grief, it's kind of hard to go through all that. So much has changed. Windows 10 deployed in a vengeance. So the last time we were here, it was February. Windows 10 was kind of not new, but we were talking about it, the ups and downs of things, and now it's just we're gangbusters on Windows 10. So, not me particularly, but some of my clients.
Yeah, I imagine you're getting a lot of this. That I woke up and my computer turned it on. It had Windows 10 on it without their knowledge. I'm sure you're getting that. No.
Oh, sorry. I heard 2 voices coming out. Initially, some, yes. And there was enough people that originally had the issue. At the time, I was using that GWX control panel. Now I'm using the Never 10. I think that just had come out. I remember talking about that. So now most of my clients are not Windows 10. Depending on my clients, some clients went all in Windows 10 and we just made do. We fixed everything, all the little problems that popped up. And some clients said, nope, we're not going to it. I have to say that my clients that said, you know what, we're going all in Windows 10. They've had more problems than my other clients that have not. Mainly on the wireless side. I've got a school that I brought on as a new client just recently, which has been fabulous and great. But the problem is that their whole school is wireless. Now, that shouldn't be a problem, but their whole school is based wireless off of 3 routers, 3 Linksys WRT 54G routers running DDWRT, and that DDWRT version is 2009. When I say, well, Windows 10 has had some issues with the wireless and we got to do this, we got to do that, their response has been, well, it's always worked before. So, but this is the same.
Do you have an updated version of the WDRT, whatever it is?
I need to get rid of those. I need to get rid of those Linksys boxes. They have 2 campuses now, and they brought me on to deploy the second campus when we were still early on, and I had deployed 8 open mesh devices there. No problems. Everything's working great there. It's the older campus that has the Linksys devices in them. And I say, we probably should. And they say, well, it's always worked. So, there were some issues with their what I'm trying to say. There's issues with them just not working, and I want to upgrade them, and they said, well, we just don't have the money now, and so I don't know. I'm trying to I'm trying to get them all situated, and I do the best I can, because really, when I've learned that as a contractor with them, they make the decision on what to purchase. They'll come to me. They'll say, this is what we would like you to buy, or this is our needs. And I say, here's what I suggest. This laptop, this amount of memory, and they don't. And then when things break, and so here's a great example. The same school came to me and they said, we want to buy these laptops, but what we want is this. We want 17-inch screen. We want high-end graphics. We want to be able to do, video processing, graphics design, and we would like this at under $500. Oh, and a 10 key. I'm like, well, that's a little tough, because what you're asking for. And so they said, okay, for now, just our regular teachers, we'd like to keep those under $300. I'm like, okay, again, a little tough. So what I would like them to do is to say, you know what, our budget is 500, and what we could do is then we can get them a decent laptop with 8 gigs of RAM running Windows 10. They don't have a domain, so they can go with Windows 10 Home. That's not a problem. And all their, they can still print. So, but they didn't. And so the problem they run into now is that things are running slow. You boot up the computer and you look at the resources, and what happens is their RAM usage is just sitting at 50%, and their CPU usage is just sitting at 70%, and that's it. Then they try to do Word and Excel and PowerPoint and everything else, and their memory taps out and their CPU goes up through the roof. And now what do we do? And so, luckily, I think we can, the teacher, the administrative staff has been able to say, okay, for the teachers that are experiencing issues, we will purchase new memory. But the people who are not, basically, squeaky wheel is going to get the grease here on this instance, and that's the best we can do. One of my other schools, we just put in $1,500 over the summer for new upgrades. I took all their computers, they brought them all back to me. Every computer got a new upgrade to. We left them at Windows 7 Pro, but we did upgrade all of their computers from 2. Sometimes some of the older computers were 2 gigs to 3 gigs, 4 gigs, all of them up to 8 gigs, and things have just been flying this year. So memory is a huge, you talk about how memory is a huge factor of a speed of computer.
Yeah, it's probably the single cheapest thing you can do outside of it, and an SSD. Probably those two right there.
Right. Yeah, and SSDs are great. I know there's text out there, and I'm don't get me wrong, I am pro SSD. Just make sure you have a backup, and that all comes down to, and I understand, right times or right amounts. I don't want to say amounts, because that doesn't mean it's not the amount of data, it's how many times things are written and read from the SSD. There's a lifetime there. You can only do that so many times, and I understand that. And I understand that it's in the millions, and so it's really something that we shouldn't have to worry about. But we always think that about everything, right? If you're working in computers, you have to have a contingency plan at all the times. And I just wrote an email today talking about that. That we have to have a contingency plan for this product, because while it only took an hour, what if this other company dragged their feet and took 5 to 7 days? Email would have gone down, and customers would have been very mad, and it reflects badly on me. Even though I'm not the tech on site, it reflects badly on me because it's my name. So always have a contingency plan, and so for SSDs, I'm pro SSDs. I'm not changing all my clients to SSDs. If we get there, we get there. But these are schools that have a limited budget, and we have to. I've got it. That part of my job is, and part of our job as being a tech, is to take what we what they have, what they need, or what they have, what they want, what they need, and how much money do they have, and try to make all of that work together. And a lot of times you can if you budget and you look at stuff and you take a computer that has 1 4 gig of RAM in it, and you have to put 1 8, use that other 4 somewhere else to make in 2 4s, and you can budget things around and move stuff around. But that's always the tricky part, I think, working with any kind of business that has a budget. There are some companies out there that definitely have here's a credit card, go for it, but that doesn't happen in education very often.
Yeah, I have, out of my, I don't know, what do you, six PCs in the house, 7, and I have Windows 10 on all of them, but but one of them. And my issues, like when I'm on this i7, this ASRock I built back maybe 3 years ago, and I did the upgrade, and things seemed all right. But I know I would notice I would get this flicker, which is a thing in Windows 10, flicker on the screen every so often, and then Movie Maker quit working on me. And I know they had with I think since the anniversary update. So, but my Logitech software worked fine. And you know what? I had these spare. I had a spare SSD lying around, a 250 gig. I'm gonna do a clean install. And sure enough, I did a clean install. Movie Maker worked, but then the Logitech software it won't even load up. It'll come up and error out, which is it's a thing with the update version, with the anniversary update. And I just noticed on 3 of the machines I did the upgrades, I went and did a clean install and improved it quite a bit. Because I've always did clean installs. I would never do upgrades. But they're saying, oh no, with Windows 10, the upgrade's it's going to be fine. Well, I had one of my Dell i5s that I did an upgrade on, but I since sold the computer. But I sold it to them with the upgrade. And it was just taking a long time to come up, a long time to shut down. I said, and like even access and stuff. And it's a Dell. It's about not real old, maybe 4 years old. And so let me do a clean install. And it's got RAID in it. And I did a clean install, and just like it just boots up and shuts down like no time. So don't know what the issue is, unless depending how much stuff you have on there. But yeah, I definitely recommend a clean install. But I think but in order to get authenticated, you got to do the upgrade. So once I guess you have it Windows activated, you can go ahead and do the clean install on that same computer and
right.
And so I did it on 3 machines, and it definitely helped. Now my fastest machine I have in the house is an ASRock gaming computer, laptop rather. I did the upgrade on there, but I also cloned it whilst it came with Windows 8, but I cloned it to a SSD. But I'm not having any issues on that. And I mean, that thing will boot to the desktop in 7 seconds.
Wow.
7 seconds, the log on screen because I got password protected. But yeah, I have no issues. I have no reason to do a clean install. It's working fine. So, but I mean, you probably heard Mike Smith. He had his issues and some of his clients.
Yeah.
But, Windows 10 was supposed to be the greatest thing ever, but I don't know. I'm sure it will be down the road, but there's some problems.
Yeah.
And that webcam thing where I think they just took out the HT264 support or something like that, or yeah, because a lot of people were having problems with the webcam. Paul Thurrott said just uninstall all the software, Logitech software, and just use the generic ones driver that Windows will use. And there was a hack that you can put in the registry, which I did on this computer. But my problem was just the Logitech software does not work. So anywho,
yeah. I haven't just the issues I've had with Windows 10 have been pretty small. The anniversary update. So I had 6 computers given to me that all So this company bought 2. They gave both of them to me. I got Windows 10 installed, no problems. Did all the updates, did everything. At the time, the anniversary update just came out, so it hasn't really. I really couldn't install it yet. Did all the updates, everything was fine, no problem. Then I got called back in, and they said, "Hey, we have 4 or 5 more computers here that our volunteer tech can't get them done. One of them's not even booting anymore. Like they just." So what they did is they bought. I don't know why they did this. They bought Windows 7. So they knew they were going to Windows 10. So what they did is they bought laptops and then downgraded them to Windows 7. But then we're given the Windows 10 key so that we can upgrade them ourselves to Windows 10. I wasn't involved in this purchasing. This was what they want versus what they need versus my suggestions. So then I got it, had to upgrade to Windows 10, fresh install, upgrade to Windows 10, which actually what happened was you end up having to go into these DELs and actually say recover, and then it would boot from the recovery media and internally. Finally, I got it all working, and then the anniversary update. And sometimes this anniversary update on these computers these were i3s with 4 gigs of RAM. Some of them took 18 hours to update. I just had on my bench back here 5 computers just sitting there and doing the anniversary update for 18 hours.
18 hours.
18 hours. So I have a laptop now. That one right there. Mm-hmm. That's a Lenovo ThinkPad. Just picked it up today for a client. I thought, okay, it's going to take about 12 hours to do the anniversary update. I started the anniversary update. If I could drive back downtown, I would deliver it today. It's already done. I'm waiting on an email for a key right now, but yeah, it just worked. So I don't know if it was the computers, if it was just because everybody was doing it at the same time. I don't know what it was, but so there's been these little hiccups that I find that Windows 10, is a little buggy. But then what happens is the more I've used Windows 10, because I do have it on this monitor right above me here, because I'm still using my dual screen Ubuntu, or Ubuntu with GNOME fallback on it. It just what it works. I haven't even gone to 1610 yet, just because or 1604, because 1404 is just working for me. And honestly, I haven't really had the time, and it's such a project that I'm like, it just works. I forgot where I was going with all this. Oh, Windows 10. Oh, yeah. The couple of the things, that O&O Shutup program. If you guys have never heard of that, it's by a company called O&O. You just type OO Shutup, SHUTUP. It's the first link. It's oo-software.com. It's their free anti-spyware tool for Windows 10. I use this all over the place. So basically, you open this up, you go to Actions. I say apply all recommended settings, and it gets rid of like Cortana. It stops listening. It's a great great little tool. So that's what I use. As soon as I get a Windows 10, I put this on there and I reboot the machine, and it allows me to then use the Windows toolbar down there, their little search bar, more as kind of what the Windows 8.1 used to be like, where you jump out to the desktop and you could just start typing and it would start bringing up stuff. I like that. I like that about Windows 10.
I just put a registry hack, because you couldn't disable it with the anniversary update. But now this program you're talking about, that will work with the anniversary update too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The one thing you do have to do, so what I found is that little toolbar down the bottom that says, I'm Cortana, ask me anything, or something along those lines, where then it searches both the web. So if you type the word like uninstall, which I've come to just love, you just type uninstall, you get your control panel right there. There's your add remove programs. So fast, so easy. But it's also searching the web at the time. So you just run this tool. A lot of times what it does, it takes that bar and it shrinks it down just to the magnifying glass. Then you just right click on the magnifying glass, go to search, and then you can say hidden or search icon, or show search toolbar, or show search bar. Bring that back. Now you have that bar back there. For some reason on my computer up here, it doesn't, but this computer up here is a CompuStick. It's that CompuStick I got that I upgraded. So for some reason, it doesn't allow me to do that. It wants to go into tablet mode or just hide it altogether. So whatever.
Yeah, I know if you had the Pro version, you can go into what's the administrative thing? It's not in 10. It's not in the Home Edition.
Like the domains?
No, where you can change your policy.
Group policy.
Yeah. You can't do it in 10. In Home version, it has to be Pro or Enterprise.
Right. Well, that's been that way since 7.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there's a hack. There's a hack. What I did that I found online to disable it. So I have a completely disabled upstairs where I can just type in, but it's not. There's no Cortana there. Just like when this one here, I didn't do it. When it's like anything else I can do. It's telling.
Yeah.
But I have the anniversary update. It's on all the machines now.
Yeah. I don't know if this has an anniversary update. Maybe I should check. So how to get to the anniversary update? If you don't know or don't have it, open up the search bar and just type update, and then you're going to get check for updates for system settings. Click on that. and then then it says looking for info on the latest update. Click on learn more, and then it's going to take you out to a website. On that website there, it'll let you know whether or not you have the latest update.
Are you?
And oh, I do not have the anniversary update. So that's probably some of the reasons why this computer is acting a little bit different. So my to-do tonight is put the anniversary update on that box up there. And that's going to, now with those other ones taking 12 to 18 hours, this box up here, because it is a CompuStick. what is this? So there's little things like system, and you can type in system control panel. This is a 2 gig 32-bit operating system because it's just an Atom processor. So I will run the anniversary update on that computer upstairs, and then go to a Linux conference or something, and then come back. And maybe it'll be done by then. I just have a feeling that's going to take a while. So maybe I'm going to wait till the weekend on that one, because that's my other monitoring tool. So.
Yeah, there's a command you can run too. It'll tell you. I forgot.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I forgot what it was. Something version or window. I forget. I can't remember what it is. It'll tell you, it's like 1604 is the anniversary update version or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but I can't find it right now because I have it upstairs.
Well, while you're looking that up, so one of the things that I've come across. So now that I'm supporting all of these schools, including St. Matthew's, which I supported last time, we've gone 1-to-1 with Chromebooks now, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We have a Chromebook cart of 30, so we're pushing almost 100. Well, yeah, we're going to be pushing over 100 Chromebooks, which is exciting. I'm really enjoying that. Talking to some of my colleagues from my old work, also in education, they're rolling out Chromebooks carts all the time. So my son has a Chromebook. Purchased my daughter a Chromebook. In 3 days, her Chromebook failed, and I had to send it back, and they're working on it. So I'm a little disappointed with that. But the whole point to talking about this is that a lot of these schools that I work at have laptops, including all the teachers. So one of the things they say is, school starts and they're looking for things to be new and fresh, and they come to me and they say, Martin, my laptop no longer holds a charge. What can we do about that? Not a problem. We can buy a laptop, but how do you know how much charge it is? Is it not holding a charge because they're not plugging it in? Is it legitimately not holding a charge? So in Windows, I believe, well, I'm assuming you can do this in all the Windows. What you can do is drop out to command line and type the words power config. So POWER CFG /battery report, and then hit enter. What this is going to do, it's going to generate a file with everything you need to know about your battery. It's going to, what you're going to look there is you're going to get a design, and this report takes a couple minutes, but it generates a text file, and it'll tell you where the text file is, and you can go open it up. But we're going to look for two things: design capacity and full charge capacity. That will let you know if you have a design capacity of, say, like 54,000 megawatts, right? But your full charge capacity is only sitting at like 20. Then chances are, your battery now is pretty much, it's less than half usable. And then, of course, you just look up this drone on Amazon.com, or podnuts.com/Amazon, and you can get yourself a new battery that way. So, but I want to let people know the difference, and if you run this, you're going to get the design capacity, like for a brand new battery, and your full charge capacity. It's never going to be, your design capacity and your full charge capacity are never going to match, even out of the box. It's just, they're batteries, right? In the same way you go and you buy a 1 terabyte drive, and you're probably going to get a 998 gigabyte drive. It's never going to match. It's just not that way. But if you notice a huge spread between those two, that's when you're going to want to really look at replacing your laptop battery. And don't replace it with a battery that you just pulled out of your Nexus 7 Note, though. That's not a wise decision.
Yeah, actually the laptop I'm recording the show on, the battery's been dead in here for a long time. So I have it plugged up all the time.
Did you run that command?
Oh, yeah, you can do I was doing it for Cortana. You got to do it a command line. Just do version VER, or I think and system info will get you and yeah.
So in Windows 10, you need to run this out of a command line?
Yeah, well, you can do system info. You don't have to do that from the command line,
Right.
and it'll bring up
Oh.
everything, and you look on top there, and it'll tell you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So yeah, so drop out to command line in Windows 10, type
And
ver.
if build 14393. That is the one with the anniversary update.
Okay, mine's 10.0.10586. But what I just noticed is that if you drop out to command line, so if you right click on the start menu on the little start button in Windows 10, go up to command prompt, it actually tells you what version, at least mine does, at the very top before that.
Let me see. From the command line, it does. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so you could just drop out to command and it works.
It's right there. You're right. But you can type it in there and it'll give you the same thing. Yeah.
Right. And yep, and both of them, I just checked to see whether or not it works both in the admin prompt and the regular one, and it does.
Right.
So, and I still using my Synergy between my two. So if you guys have never heard of Synergy before, longtime listeners, anybody can. It's a great tool. It's an application that's free, or if not, it's like,
I don't think it's free anymore.
What was it, $10 though? I mean, really?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's whatever. It's free in the grand scheme of all things purchased. For $10, I have my Ubuntu machine down here, right, that I'm recording on. You're seeing me here, my main screen, 2 monitors. Above me, that machine I'm talking about is that CompuStick that is running Windows 10. I run Synergy, and what that allows me to do is take my mouse, not only go between my 2 monitors here in front of me, but also to move up and actually use my mouse on my Windows 10 machine. If I had a Mac for some reason over here, I could do that. Any of those computers over there, if I decided to turn around, I could actually install Synergy. In the Synergy window, you tell it what computers are where physically located. Like if you move your mouse, where's it going to go? So you can have a Mac, next to me. Over here on my right-hand side, I install Synergy on that, tell it I need it over here. Now when I take my mouse and I move it off my screen, I can actually move it right to the Mac, bring it back, bring it up to my Windows 10 machine, or keep it on my Linux box. So yeah, Synergy, if you haven't heard of that, that's a great product.
I used to use, I have used that before, but I used to use for Windows Input Directory. Input Directory, yeah. But since with Windows 10 update, I tried something else. I forgot what the other one was, and I didn't like it.
It's not Synergy though.
What? No.
The name is called. No. The name of the application is called. Yeah, it is Synergy. Synergy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I use it. See, because that will work with Windows and Linux. I don't Input Directory. I don't think work with Linux.
Oh, okay.
But I always had to use a static IP address so it would remember, which wasn't a big deal. But I since took it off because it's convenient when I'm doing these shows, because I'm recording on another computer just to have one mouse and keyboard,
Right. Oh my.
But I mean, way back then, I think before you were involved, when we used to do, we were doing Geeksters and the Unbootables, I used to use 3 PCs. So it was real convenient using a Synergy or Windows Input Directory for that. And then Microsoft has their version. They have one called Mouse Without Borders, and it's a little slow. I mean, yeah, Mouse Without Borders. Of course, their version is not going to work in Linux.
No. Can you hear that fan?
I don't know.
Perfect. It's just towards the end of the day, and I always forget that the sun comes right in my window, and for some reason my office just goes up about 10 degrees. So,
but my batteries died on my hearing aid. So,
oh well, if anybody else can hear that, just raise your hand. So, actually, SCJ643 in the chat room posted a link about the battery report. So anyways, I'll look at that. And he posted file not found output of that. Oh well, anyways, sorry. Yeah, that's the report. So he ran a report. So his design capacity is 73,997 and his full charge capacity is 66,337. So he's still got he's still looking at a decent battery life of that. You can run those in a just divide in a calculator and you can come up with a percentage if you want. I don't know if it actually gives you percentages, so I'll have to look a little bit later. But it would be I would have done you all a disservice if I had not mentioned that today is Patch Tuesday. There's let's see how many updates. I don't know. But anyways, it's Patch Tuesday, so make sure to get out there and update your computers. I don't know when they're going to switch to. Mitch, you probably have remember hearing this, that Microsoft was going to go away from this whole Patch Tuesday plan and go to a more kind of just maybe as needed patches, pushing them out.
That's what I'm hearing. If you listen to Windows Weekly, Paul Thurrott. But then again, you still have Windows 7 is still around.
Right. Since we talk about everything from iPhones to Android computers, your thoughts? Well, my kids. So since we have last met, we don't have any more iPhones. We have iPhones as MP3 players, but both my kids. So I dropped slash fell off the top of my car, my iPhone, my Android S5. So had to go get a new one. Then took my original one that I had into a shop just up the way. They did cell phone repairs. I needed the screen replaced, and because it was pretty well cracked, and took it in there. And the guy said, "Not a problem. I'll have the part in Tuesday. I'll have it done a couple days after that." So I was looking about a week turnaround. Not a problem. Came back, no response. Like, the guy now is just gone. So I did before, but I called him, no response. Left him an email, no response. Voicemail, no response. Finally got a hold of him, right? And he goes, "Oh yeah, your phone's here. No worries, come and pick it up." So I go to pick it up, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just getting the shady feeling from this guy, like. Yeah. And so I take the phone out to the car and I start messing with it, and I push a button. I push the bottom corner button, like you're gonna look at, like you're gonna look at your screen, and it's moving, like it's not sticked down. I'm like, all right. So I go back in. I'm like, this isn't supposed to do this. And if it goes back and he pulls some tape and he tapes it. Still, I get the percentage. I get the feeling like it's done, like it's so 70% done. Like it's just wonky. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it. I'm not bringing anything back to him, right? So because of that, then we got my son and Galaxy S5 as well on Swappa for just a dirt cheap price, brand new, like better than my phone for even cheaper than it was. And I think to replace my screen was, it was way too expensive. I think I paid $230. I think it was cheaper than a new phone, but it was like right there. So we ended up buying my son a new phone through Swappa, or the used phone, and really it was great. No problems with it. Well, then a couple clients of mine had their screen break, and I thought, well, let me see what happens. Or my daughter's broke, or something happened. So I went to this one shop just down the way from me, and went in there, said, how much to get this done and timeline. And he goes, about $110, and I'd be done in 30 minutes. I'm like, what? Sure, go. Like, what am I got to lose? I go pick it up. Pristine. This company did a great job with it. I have now sent 4 phones there, and just hands down, they're so experienced and just the best. My son's girlfriend dropped her Galaxy, not her iPhone 6 on the corner, right? Shattered. She was just in tears. And my son comes in and goes, "Hey, do you have any of those iPhone screen protectors?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. Let me look." And I'm like, "Oh, the screen protector is perfectly fine. It's the glass underneath it that just shattered." I said, "Not a problem. We'll go get this fixed." And so I took it down there, $140, 20 minutes, they were done. And they put a new screen protector on for me.
Get out.
No, so if you're in the Hillsborough area, outside of Portland, place called Cellular Mechanics, just it's the greatest. I've had no problems with them at all. So speaking of that, then that's kind of a long story to get to. The issue I wanted to actually ask you, Mitch, was, since we don't have any iPhones anymore, and I don't, so we're not going to be purchasing any iPhones. What are your thoughts then on the new iPhone 7 and removing the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack?
Well, it's Apple doing it again. They're making, like they always have, you have to do what they want you to do. That's crazy. But the bad thing maybe about Android, or they may follow suit. So I don't know what that the wireless earbuds. I don't know what $150 or something like that. That's to me, it's ridiculous.
I
But
think these are. I don't know who they are, but anyways, I purchased these and they weren't that expensive. And they're Bluetooth. They magnet together, but they're Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Okay.
Yeah. I bought them through Amazon. I think they're EMIHI.
Mm-hmm. But will they work with an iPhone?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have an iPhone. They work on my Android.
Right.
They work on my
Anything
laptop.
works on Android.
Right. Well, so one of the things that I had heard about was, somebody said, well, now the Square won't work. And admittedly, I have a Square as well.
Right.
But the one thing that has changed between now and then is the fact that see if I can do this, we now have these little chips on our cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the new Square, you get a new Square device now, and they send you those the chip readers. They're square. They're actually square, and they slide in, right? But they're Bluetooth. So really, the legacy devices like the Square and the PayPal and in the QuickBooks little slide dongle thing that actually uses a 3.5 millimeter, if they're going to the chip, you have to slide the chip in, right? The chip has to go into it, which means the strip doesn't work anymore. Even if I go to my local supermarket and I buy something and I swipe it, it says, please please put the chip in. So at first I was like, good grief, Apple's making this huge change. It's just going to affect everybody. And then I thought, the people complaining the loudest seem to be the manufacturers that already have a Bluetooth solution in place. So, I don't know. I still listen to headphones on this. I still use my little headphones. I probably need to start switching over to something like this when I'm around, because it has a microphone built into it. But then again, I don't have an Apple, and so I don't know if Samsung's ever going to get rid of that 3.5 millimeter jack. I mean, Apple's leading the way. It seems like Apple does a lot of things, and now and it's a crapshoot because But then again, what you could end up doing is Apple leading the way, doing that. Some of the manufacturers doing it, some of them not. Who knows?
Yeah, I got this old. I switched from the main carrier, Verizon. It's been like about a year and a half now, and I got a Samsung S4. It's the best phone I ever had. I'm with Boost Mobile. I pay $35 a month. This is the best phone I've ever had out of the 4 Android cell phones I've had. I mean, no problem whatsoever. I would like to get a new phone, but I don't want to, I don't want to pay $500 or $600 for. I paid. It was special. I think I paid $280, and now I think you can get it for. Actually, I think I paid $180. They had a special when I got it. But I think they have. I've seen other specials since then, even cheaper than that. But it's getting old. You got the S7 out now, or you can get a Note 7 that blows up in your face too. For now, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But I miss getting the new phones, but I'm sure saving a lot of money. This is just as fast as any of the other phones for the most part. I do everything on it. I mean, I love. I have a Garmin. I never use that. I use Waze or Google GPS or whatever. And
oh yeah, no, I'm still a big fan of Waze.
I know you've been using it for a long time, but I
been using it for a long time.
About. I guess a few months ago, I started using. We went to Ocean City, Maryland. It's pretty cool, except for it's user input where when it's telling you to cop ahead or so I advise nobody to. You have to click things too to add it in, or don't do it while you're driving. Have somebody else do it. If they're with you. But it does work good. It works quite well.
Yeah. Well, I'm just kind of waiting. I know Google bought Waze a long time ago. Kind of waiting for that. You can kind of see some of that integration coming in, but every now and then I kind of wait for Waze to be discontinued.
I didn't know Google owned it.
Google bought them. Oh, it's been a while, but I kind of been waiting for. I'm either waiting for two things to happen. Either one, Waze to just be done, right, and then them integrating all of Waze's aspects of social. The social, not the engineering, but the social inputs.
Right.
I can't think of the right word.
User inputs.
Right. Because if you're using Google, then you probably already have a Google account. So all of a sudden, because with Waze, I had to create my own. You have to create an account. Now you can tie it to like your Facebook or your Google account. So there's that kind of that cross authentication. but I'm either waiting for Waze to just go away and Google to say, we're dropping Waze, we're going to integrate all of Waze's features into Google, or start seeing, well, I guess that's it. But then I would have a feeling what's probably going to happen is there's going to be this transition time where people on Waze will move over to Google. But then again, I know a lot of people who use Waze who are on an Apple device, so they don't necessarily have a Google account. But then again, I would probably venture to say that most people on an Apple device still have a Google account. So,
oh yeah,
I would probably almost venture to say, to ask who. I would love to see a survey where they said who doesn't have a Google account, and
yeah, people have it, they don't realize they have it.
right. So, there's just there's this analytics that they can get from that. Yes, Bill Miller. I believe these are monoprice headphones. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of monoprice.
Nope. See, I don't shop there or have one.
What?
Oh wait, go ahead.
I said, speaking of monoprice, this, I don't know if you can see that guitar in the background.
I do.
Well, I got a real nice Fender Stratocaster. If I only knew how to play it. But anyway, I wanted to get something with a Les Paul sound. If you're familiar with your two big guitars out there in classic rock from years ago, Fender Stratocaster, Telecaster, and Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul. But I don't want to spend $800 went up for a Les Paul. So I bought this one used guitar, LTD. It's like a Les Paul. I didn't like it, so I took it back at Guitar Center. And I've been looking at these reviews on this monoprice guitar, which, their big thing is selling like cables, right?
Right.
They sell musical instruments. A few of them. They have a one that looks like a Fender Strat, and they have this one. It's a monoprice Route 66. It was $100. I got it through Amazon because I have a Amazon account, and
you won it next day or 2 days.
Well, no, I don't have Prime. I didn't get it next day. But anyway, my intentions were to replace electronics, because there's some good reviews on YouTube. Maybe there's these players that are awesome players, and so you don't have to have $1,000 guitar to sound good. These guys sound really, really good. But my intentions were to replace the electronics, which I did. I didn't do it myself. I had it done, and it plays really, really good. I had, from what I have invested in, I probably could have got a used Les Paul, but it was fun, and I'm glad I did. I met some people that the guitar technicians. This guy, he did a fantastic job, and it plays good. Yeah, Route 66 from Monoprice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. There was an application that I used, and I'm trying to remember where it is. So I had this issue where, yes, I remember what happened now. So I had this issue where we were transitioning from a small business server to a regular server, and this is an application. So we had moved QuickBooks over, we had moved the data over, everything was good, but there was this application they used called Fishbowl, and it's some kind of a inventory access. I've never heard of it, but I've got one client who used it. So the client was the gentleman was setting it up, getting it all set up, and then he needed tech support because it wasn't talking to QuickBooks exactly. So what I had found, and it runs over some certain ports. So what's nice though is you can, if you have an application or a database, or if you've got something, a port running on a certain computer and it's listening, and you just type in telnet to that computer, it'll either answer or it won't based on if the port. So it's not going to do anything, but you'll at least know if 3389 is open, you can telnet to 3389 and it'll open. You go, great. I know that computer is now listening on 3389 at least. I don't know what it does, but we do. But anyways, so there's a program out there, and I've talked about this program before, and it's called. It's going to take me just a minute here. It's called portlistener.exe. Let's see if I can find, but it's called Port Listener. I'm trying to see if I can find a URL or something. It's an old, it's from RJL Software, and it's called Port Listener. So if you just Google Port Listener, you can get it for 10.8.7 Vista XP 3 2000 NT ME98, and if you happen to be running 95, you can get it for 95 as well. What this does is it's a simple, small, self-executable. Just run it, and then you tell it, listen on port whatever, such and such, go. Then from your remote computer, you try to telnet into that, and it'll let you know if it hears it or not. Right? Even if it doesn't make a connection, it'll tell, do I hear something? We couldn't get stuff up and running. We finally figured out what the problem was, and it was a VPN issue, VPN partial setup issue. But I just wanted to let people know that if you have, this is one of those things that I have in my toolbox, is just the small executable. Just, you can have it, you can set up a computer to just listen on a certain port. That way you can verify whether maybe your routes are correct, especially from externally to internally. I was able to prove that that the routes were correct on one of my firewalls by putting this on a completely separate computer, running it, making my firewall rule changes, telnetting in on that port, and then this computer internally would answer. And I could see it. I had a log. It would say it would answer. What happened is on their other computer that they said wasn't answering, the gateway was wrong. So it would come in, but never. And I couldn't make it listen on their computer because it was a heating and cooling condition thing. Oh, I'll get to that. There's a story for Geeksters. Heating and cooling on that one. But what was happening is the gateway was wrong. So the data would come in, wouldn't able to get back out. We got that one resolved. But this little tool helped me prove that my routing through my firewall was correct. So back to heating and cooling. The heating and cooling company that works for St. Matthews is the one that I've worked with many times before. I actually, a long time ago, remember they called me in. They had me, their programmers couldn't figure out how to set up some VPN boxes. So I set up some VPN boxes for them. They're still using those boxes. I actually have seen them out in the wild now. I go and I'm like, that's the box that I set up for them using a little TP-Link router. Yeah, just a cool little boxes. So I got called in and they said, hey, would you help us out with this nursery? And I said, sure, why not? I'll go help you out with this nursery. So it got postponed and pushed back and postponed and pushed back. And finally the day came and it's like, okay, we're going to do it today. Okay. So I drive just out in the country here to this nursery. Now out in this country where I live, there are farms and like blueberry farms and blackberry farms and, apple orchards and nut orchards. And, the Oregon up here is just a plethora of just farms out there. So it's not uncommon to go out and these nurseries are out there all the time. So I go find this nursery and I get there and I can't find the entrance. So I'm like, well, okay. So I start looking around and I'm like, I can't find the entrance. So I go to the other side. Nope, that doesn't exist. I come back around. I get out of my car and I peek through the little slots. And I see my tech is in there. And I'm like, he says, just open the gate. Come on in. Open the gate, drive in, close the gate. And I look around and I'm like, this is odd. I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but this is odd. I don't know what it is. So big buildings and stuff. And so I drive in and we talk and okay. So I get in and they're like, okay, you have to sign in. I'm like, okay, name, date of birth, check that you're over 21. Okay, driver's license. I'm like, oh, I know what this is. Get my little name tag, put it on, flip it over, look at it. Yeah, this is a huge, giant grow facility for medical marijuana for the state of Oregon. So needless to say, so we spent a couple hours there getting their heating and cooling conditions set up in all their like massive grow rooms and external accesses and ports set up and routing configuration. And I mean, it wasn't anything difficult, but the whole time I'm there, people are coming in and out with booties and hats on and samples of this and tests of that. And it smelled like a very grow farm, but it didn't,
a lot of people were stoned.
No, nobody was stoned, but it was just one of those things where I then I left, right? And as I'm leaving, I look over to the side and there are just huge, giant bushes. And I don't know why I didn't recognize them at first, but giant bushes. And I'm like, of course, this is what it is. So I leave and I have to go back because I forgot some tools there. And anyways, but I was leaving there, right? And I'm going by my house on my way to St. Matthew's Catholic Church. Right. Mm-hmm. So I had to stop off at my house and say, I need somebody to smell me. Do I smell bad? Does it,
secondhand smoke.
Well, nobody was smoking anything. They actually have signs that say you can't do that there. But it was just one of those things where I wasn't expecting to end up at a giant grow farm. And I mean, whatever. It's legal in the state of Oregon. it is what it is. But that was pretty funny. And then since then,
Oh
I've
yeah.
worked with that same heating company and multiple other sites for different projects. You know, they go and they work at a heating site, and then I go and I help them out, get everything set up, and then I get a call from the person that he helped out saying they recommend you for IT support. We need to have such and such done. Okay, I'll go down there and have them do a contract with me, and then I end up with new clients with new contracts, and I'll just strictly word of mouth.
Interesting. Very.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think of just lots of. It's been fun. I've really things are going really good. I do still have my employee, so I've had him since January. So we're working on a couple projects here and there, and it's going good. It's really going good. I haven't had really a chance to take much of a vacation. A little bit here, a little bit there. I was out towards I was closer to Josh with the big beard.
Yeah. I know you're talking about. Not Williams.
No, it is Josh Williams.
Is it Josh Williams?
Yeah. So I was out towards his area, his way. Not too long ago, we went out for a quick vacation getaway at an amusement park up there, and I thought, oh man, if he was closer, that'd be awesome. And then I looked at where he lives, where that is. I'm like, oh, it's still hours away, so it's not the closest he's ever been to me has been within about 6 hours, and that's where I was. I was like, well, I'm close. I'm in the same state. Oh, you're on the other side of the state. Never mind. Kind of out towards Spokane area, kind of eastern Washington.
Speaking of traveling, are you going to Linux Fest?
I'm not. I will be. This is the time of year where we have competitions for band, and that happens to fall on one of those competition dates, and I'm kind of in charge of a big part of that. So
right.
No Ohio Linux Fest for me.
I haven't had anything to do with Linux in I don't know how long, except for unless I had something. I used a boot up CD to fix something.
Yeah.
Just.
Well, Dora and I did a swap of some hardware, and so I have the new Raspberry Pi down there. And last weekend, it is when when it's your job and everything. So last weekend, or the weekend before last, whatever, I got it set up. Cody put on it, attached to my NAS. Everything's fine. Everything's good. All I got to do is just unplug it and physically take it downstairs and plug it back in and take my other Raspberry Pi out and bring it up here and do something else with it. But I haven't done that, right? It's still sitting right there because I got it like half done, and I'm like, well, now I'm too lazy to finish the rest of it because I don't really want to do it anymore. Yeah,
my son, he got the I guess the newer version, it's more powerful or something, whatever. Raspberry Pi. He put all those those Nintendo type games on there the whole time, and it was working good, really good. But I never played any games, like when I mess around with Linux, it's like, I'll see if I can do this, get something. And when I was messing around with the Arch, I get it running good, and then I don't mess with it, and I stay away from it so long I forget everything. The command line, if you don't do it every day, you got to start. I always got to play around with it before I can start remembering things again. But
well, you were doing Arch for a while there, and I was like, well, it's old more than I want to do.
Yeah, but that was all in VirtualBox, but it still was a pain. But then I did the what was the other one where I forgot the name of it. Manjaro, which it gives you an easier interface to load it.
Yeah,
which is based on Arch. But I don't even mess with that anymore.
Yeah. See,
I got this guitar. Like, I plan to retire this time next year. Anyway, like, I'm getting all these guitars. I want to learn. That's what I'm hoping my hobby will be. Trying to get better before I get senile at playing guitar. Try to improve. And yeah, I've been accomplishing some things. But maybe before I die, I'll learn a song all the way through. But anyway.
Stairway to Heaven?
So that's, yeah. Oh, man, that was like one of the first songs I ever learned how to play.
All right.
Yeah, I can play that. Actually, what's so good about YouTube, you can find background tracks with the singing. I mean, with the instruments taken out. So I already got one of Whole Lot of Love from Led Zeppelin. So I got the guitar, Jimmy Page is taken out of it, and I put my guitar in there, and it came out pretty good though. But it's actually Robert playing. It's his singing. It just
that's cool.
Wow, really,
that's really cool. Well, Mitch, I think that's all I got for a comeback show.
Yeah, but I guarantee you'll think it's
I will. But then I got to save for the next show.
6-7 months or whatever it was.
I know. Yeah. I still have my little log here. I just went to the same location, pulled it all up. So, yeah, but
it's fun.
It is fun, and I do miss this, and I'm hoping that I like I said earlier at the beginning, for people who I didn't get the live show. We were live, but we weren't really live. I didn't get the live show going because I put the wrong link into the Geeksters live page on the Podnuts. So it's all coming back to me now. So I will make sure that is fixed next time. So
if I may ask you a question before you wrap up here, since you do have a lot of clients with Windows 7, did you have problems with those Windows 7 updates breaking?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Not breaking, just taking
not updating. Not updating.
Yes, taking forever. I have 2 links up here that are how to fix the problems with Windows 7. I mean, I even tried my D7. I tried.
They work. The fixes work. I've done them.
Yes, I would go to update a system, and it's like
you have to download one of the patches, and then stay unplugged from the internet.
I never had to unplug, but I should have.
It works. Yeah, it does work. I mean, I had it on a couple. I mean, it was on my PC, and I had my buddy's PC who he's got an HP laptop and a dual core, came with Vista, and I upgraded maybe 2 years with 2 years ago probably with Windows 7, put it on for him, and it's been running great. Yeah. But then all of a sudden the updates quit working. He has a newer machine that has no problem getting the updates. So it's just like just going through all the stuff and finally got it. Now it's working fine. But it's a Microsoft thing.
I found that I couldn't replicate it every time. Like A would fix it, and then B would fix it, but A wouldn't, and then C. I couldn't. Nothing would ever work right. And so finally I would just throw the whole gamut at it, and it was fine. Okay, finally I got it to update. And it was one of those things where you never knew whether or not it was updating or not, because it was just sitting there waiting for updates until you thought, that's it, I give up, and you walk away and you come back and it says, oh, updates. I'm like, oh, okay, well that must have fixed it. So
I know let it go for 24 hours before it wasn't doing anything.
Oh yeah. I know Mike Smith talked a lot about it.
Yeah. It just pretty much is what I did. Yeah, what he did.
Yeah. So what I was saying before that was that since I don't know what my schedule is going to be like I said, things have tapered down, but I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to make this every week thing like we were. But I think, who knows? Maybe we're going to have to just go with every other week, because right now I know Tuesday nights are filled with band stuff. Tonight, all the props and stuff have already been created. I've already worked a lot of hours on making that stuff for my kids' band. And Tuesday night, they have practice. So we may be more involved. I know next week I'm more involved in that. So Tuesday may not work out next week, but then softball is coming to an end now. So maybe Geeksters is going to move to another night. Maybe it's going to be every other week as opposed to every week. I don't know yet.
Because I do leases, and a lot of times it is on Tuesday.
Right. So that may free up there, because we don't have to do Tuesday. I don't know why we chose Tuesday originally, but we did, and it doesn't really matter.
I don't even remember what our original day was. But no, like I said, I'm flexible.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll just see how it goes and what plays out and how things work. And I still have to work, and it's just now 5 o'clock here on the Pacific, where I live on the Pacific coast, and my work day is just now ending. To an extent, I do have some work to do tonight, but sometimes it's hard for me to get away. But if 4 o'clock is usually something that I can kind of squeeze a little bit out and kind of be a little flexible, like, oh, I don't know, I didn't hear the phone ring. No, I'm just kidding. Any clients who are listening, I will always answer you. But anyways, so there it is. There's episode 179. Geeksters is back, hopefully for good this time. We did not pod fade. We did not go away. None of us died. None of us stepped off a curve and were hit by a bus. Life happened. We were all still here. My beard's a little grayer. Mitch has lost weight.
Well, some of it is coming back.
I can't even notice it there. I can't notice it there, Tony Danza.
15 pounds, I think I gained back. Sorry.
Hey, you look good, Mitch. You always look good to me. Big heart, whatever, how they do that, whatever. So there it is, guys. Don't forget, if you're buying anything from Amazon, use the Podnuts Amazon link. That's podnuts.com/Amazon. I'm in the chat room. I need to be in there more often than not, but not the YouTube chat room. This is the IRC. It's under the free node. It's hashtag podnuts. I'm Obando Computing in there. Oh, geeksters.com podnuts.com is where you're going to find all the information. Our live shows, bios about us, other live shows. There's I mentioned in this show, the Computer Repair podcast. That's a show that Jeff Hallish, Marvin B., Matt Dubinsky, Paco, LeBron, they do that show. That's on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. No, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's why. 1 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of them. Linux for the Rest of Us. Android App Addicts is every Thursday night. Linux for the Rest of Us is on Tuesdays. Kind of like us, it's kind of hit and miss. I try to get on there when I can. Life's busy. If you want to know all about Linux, there's a mini PC show. There's an Android show. There's just a general computing show where you can call in, tips, tricks. Yeah. Anyways, you're going to find us. Mitch does the Lisa show, and she talks all about Office 365.
Yeah, Call That Girl's Office 365 show.
Yep. So, gosh, if you don't have anything to listen to, you're not trying hard enough, because we're going to be in your ear wherever you go. But anyways, Martin Obando at Obando Computing is where you can get me. You can check out my fancy new webpage. It's not fancy nor it's new, but anyways, www.obandocomputing.com. I thought about having what's his name do a new webpage for me. Can't think of his name.
Matt Riddell.
Yes, and I just haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I need to. That's coming. So get him coming. If you're in business, that's the other one. If you're in business, him, Matt Rodell, and Paco do a business podcast where not necessarily they talk a lot about business itself, like managing employees and how to keep yourself busy and how not to go into debt and other things. But those are some high level topics, and you can find those out there somewhere. I don't know exactly, but anyways, Mitch, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way they can do that?
Geeksters that no, I don't know. I don't even have that. I can't even get in there. Yeah,
we'll figure it out. But if
Google
people
Plus.
Google Plus, you can get reached to me at Martin at obandocomputing.com. So I actually talked to a lady today. She said, "Is this Martin from Obando Computing? Obando, and I said, "Stop! Just say it." I told her, just say it what you see. And she goes, Obando Computing. I'm like, there you go. So don't try to make it any harder than it is. It's Obando Computing, just like it is. But hey guys, I didn't get a chance to say it this week, but don't forget that Bob's your uncle-in-law, and we'll see you soon. Have a great week, and do not forget to be gruntled. All right, guys, catch you later.